Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn recursion in Python. Now, let us first understand what is recursion. See, recursion is a way of writing functions in Python or any programming language. In recursion, what is done is that a function which is being written, the calling statement of that same function is written in the body part of the function. That is the function being defined. So suppose if I have a function ABC, I am defining that function ABC. If the body part has a statement which calls function ABC itself, we will say we are using recursion. So what is recursion? So recursion is a way of writing program in which the function being defined calls itself. Here I have written a code to help you understand how recursion works and how it gives its output. So let us see how recursion works using a Python program. So students, here we have a Python program that contains a function. The name of the function I have given here is recursion. You can give any name to the function. Here I have given the name recursion because we are having this topic recursion. So I gave the name recursion. Now recursion function, as you see, has two lines within it. So the definition of recursion function has two lines within it. The first line prints the statement world tour, and the second line actually is calling the function itself. You can well see the second line is calling the function itself. That means whenever recursion function is going to execute, after printing world tour, the recursion function will again be called. So this is something new for us. We have never seen a function calling itself. Now if I see a function calling itself, then I should also understand how many times this recursion function will work. So let us go and analyze how many times this recursion function is going to work for us. So let us start from the first call. As we all know, this function recursion will start executing for the first time from here. The statement besides which it is written first call. That given recursion function calling would get executed first. Now as this recursion calling function gets executed, we reach to the recursion function, and the first statement that is executed is world tour, and it will be printed on the Python shell. Now the second statement itself calls the recursion function again. Now the second statement, when it calls the recursion function again, we all know that world tour would be again printed. Then recursion function again calls itself. World tour is again going to be displayed. Then recursion function again calls itself. World tour again gets displayed. Now how many times this recursion function will work? Students, if the same code had been written in C or C++, this would have been an endless loop. That is, the recursion function would have worked for infinite number of times, and we would have to intervene there either by pressing control brake or any other way to stop the execution of recursion in C or C++ or many other languages. But in Python, there is a maximum limit till which recursion can be done. Normally, Python interpreter execute recursive function for 1000 times. But a programmer can change this. A programmer can increase that given recursion limit, or a programmer can even decrease the recursion limit. We will see how we can increase the recursion limit or we can decrease the recursion limit. But first of all, let us see what would be the output of this particular program code. So, see the output of this particular program code. See world tour, world tour, world tour. It has been written many times. And afterwards, when Python thought it has exceeded the limit set for recursion, it gives an error. And it says that it would not continue anymore because the maximum recursion depth has been exceeded. So student, you have seen how recursion works. Recursion means calling the same function which is being defined from within itself. And when it is done without any given control, it is executed in Python for 1000 times by default. It is actually less than 1000. It should be 980, sometimes 970, but most of the times we see it to be 980. So let us try something. Let us now see how many times this world tour gets printed. For this, I have written another code, but I have done some changes in that code. Let us see the change which I have done. Now see, this is also the same recursion function, but this time I have taken a global variable. Now the global variable that I have taken is I. I have put 0 in I, and then as I am using it within the recursion function, I have written global I to tell the interpreter that I am using the global I. What I do is, inside recursion now, I am increasing I by 1. So each time recursion works, the global variable is going to be incremented by 1. Now I am printing world tour and then the number. That is, for the first time it would print world tour 1. For the second time it would print world tour 2, then world tour 3. So if this function is executed, you can well see there is a recursion function which is being called within the definition of the function recursion. So it is again going to be called more than once, and I should say infinite, but in Python we know there is a recursion limit and we want to know how many times world tour gets printed. That is how many times this recursion function works for us. So let us see. See, it started. See, I have taken only a part of the whole output. So it started at world tour 1 and it reached till world tour 980. So world tour 980, the maximum limit 1000, Python goes below that limit. Python takes 980 times that recursion function and executes it. So this is how Python works with recursion. Now students, the question is, we would also like to change the recursion limit. We would like to know how recursion limit can be changed. Can we change that 1000 to say 50, say 70, say 500, anything? Let us go and see how we change it. Students, in Python, there is a module called sys. See the code. The module is sys. So I have a module called sys, and I have defined a new function ABCC. Now this function ABC does the work for us. It actually first shows us the maximum recursion limit. How we can get the maximum recursion limit? See, there is a function, built-in function in the sys module. That function is get recursion limit function. Now if this function is executed, it prints the maximum recursion limit set by Python. And there is one more function, it is set recursion limit, which actually sets the recursion limit. We can change the recursion limit using this function. So the first statement in ABC actually prints the maximum recursion limit. The second statement actually changes the maximum recursion limit. See here we have changed it to 40. And the third statement again prints, and we check with the third statement that how much has Python made after our set recursion limit function works. How much Python made? Did it made it 40 or it is keeping it 1000 only? So the first function in ABC, that is get recursion limit function, is actually to see what actually default limit is for recursion. Set recursion limit changes the recursion limit. We can change the recursion limit with the set recursion limit function. And the third one here statement shows us what lately the recursion limit we have made. And you see recursion function itself has not changed. We have kept the same recursion function. So it will again print world tour 1, world tour 2, world tour 3. So we want to see how many times after this given change in the code, after the ABC function's inclusion, how many times this recursion function works. That is what we want to see. So we have first called ABC so that the limit changes, and then again we have called the recursion function. So let us see. When we see the output, you'll find that this time only 20 times world tour worked. That is recursion function worked. So this is because we have changed the limit. You see above it is written maximum recursion limit is 1000. Recursion limit has been changed by us to 40. Now Python is going to work for any given time less than 40. Here it has worked for how many times? 20 times. So our recursion function worked for how many times? 20 times. So it works for 20 times. And then again generates the error that the maximum limit of recursion has been exceeded. So students, you have seen how sys module works here. It has two functions, get recursion limit function and set recursion limit function. These two functions are used for working with the recursion limit. One is for seeing the limit, the other one is for changing the limit. Get recursion helps us to see the limit and set recursion limit function helps us to change the limit. So I think students, you have understood what recursion is and how recursion works in Python. Let us now move forward and see few examples of recursion. All these examples are in the syllabus of CBSE board examination for class 12th. So let us see what is in our course curriculum. The first question is writing function to display sum of first n natural number. See, you have done this in class 11th also, but you never used recursion. You did it normally, but here we'll do this using recursion. So we'll find the sum of n natural numbers using recursion. The second question is to display factorial of n. Now this also you have done in class 11th, but here how we are going to do it? We are going to do it using recursion. Now see the third question, writing Fibonacci series up to n terms. We'll deal with this also, but in this video we'll deal with the sum of natural numbers first. There is a question again. This question is not of number, it is from list. It is from list. It says to search a number from a list of numbers, and there is a particular algorithm that is to be used for it. It is binary search algorithm. So these are the 4 questions in the screen, and they form the topics, or I should say form the part of the syllabus of 12th board. So it's time now to first understand recursion a bit more. That is how to plan a recursion. We'll understand how to plan a recursion, what is required, how a programmer should think while he is going for recursion. So we'll plan that, and then we'll try to display the sum of first 10 natural numbers using recursion. So see how we formulate a recursive code, or what is the plan that we have to understand and execute. See, to write a recursive function, a programmer has to take 2 conditions into consideration. Now, what is that 2 condition? What should be taken into consideration? See, first of all, I'll tell you that there is a condition called terminating case. Now, what is terminating case? Now, in recursion, when a programmer thinks of executing a recursion, that is writing a function using recursion, he first has to think of a case which gives at least a definite value, and that definite value should be the minimum value for that given program function when it gives out the result. That is for, say, our summing of n natural number. A definite value minimum that function can give as answer. We can well speculate. See, for sum, if I say I have to sum only one natural number, and the question is saying first n natural number. The first n natural number means first one natural number. We all know 1 is a number which is the first in the series of natural number. Natural number starts from 1. So if somebody says I have to sum the first natural number, we know we have to sum only 1, and the answer is 1. So this becomes the terminating case for our sum. We'll see it further. So this is terminating case. Now the question cannot always talk of 1 only. Sometimes the question will say find sum of natural numbers till 50. So that becomes a recursive case. That is a case where such small additions as we did for 1 has to be done more than once. 1 is to be added to 2, 2 is to be added to 3, 3 is to be added to 4. This small work has to be done a number of times. That is, that work has to be done in recurrence. So it is known as recursive case. So we have to take 2 conditions in mind. We have to plan and find out the terminating case, that is the case which gives the minimum value, minimum bare value to us. That is the function when works, it should give a minimum value. That is the terminating case. And recursive case is the generic thing. That means when a bigger value is also given, the recursive case will take help of the terminating case and do its work. It will do its work. We'll understand it further while we see this particular approach. This approach will be taken for all the examples which we talked of. That is for, say, Fibonacci series, the series Fibonacci series was in class 11th also. Even for summing natural numbers or finding factorials, we will take this approach only. And what is the approach? I already said the approach is identifying terminating case and the recursive case. So students, it is now time to start our first question and understand how we get to the terminating case and then how we get to the recursive case. So let's see. We are here now. We want to find the sum of the first n natural numbers. See, to find the sum of first n natural number, what we are going to do is we are going to write a function sum. Yes, using Python only we'll write. We'll write a function sum. In the parameter of sum, I have given n. So n is that maximum natural number till which the summation would be done and the answer would be then displayed. That is, if n has 5, summation would be done from 1 to 5. That is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So I think you have understood. So let us proceed. See student, I said 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Which was the least magnitude number that I said here? 1. That means 1 is the minimum and maximum can be anything. We should take it here into our mind. So let us first see how our function should do that work. So before writing the function, we need to understand how our function is going to do the work. So what we'll do here is we'll have a table here. The table takes every case into consideration and then we'll see how it would accomplish our work. See, first case, when sum is passed 1. So when sum is passed 1, work to be done by the function is it should display 1, it should give me 1, because when one value is to be added and that value is 1 itself, then 1 is the answer. Now when sum is passed 2, so what it should do? It should print 2 plus 1, that is 3. So the function should give me 3. So I think you have understood. When 3 is passed, the result given by the function is 6. How it does that 6? It adds 3 plus 2 plus 1. Now we'll see afterwards how it adds, how this addition is done by the function. Here we are understanding that a human brain thinks that whenever the function sum has to work, it will work in this fashion because the human brain itself works in this fashion. But function don't work in this fashion. We'll see afterwards how the function works. Here the only thing that I want you to understand is what is the terminating case. See, the case which gives us a minimum value is the terminating case. Here someone gives us the minimum value. See, sum 2 gives 3, sum 3 gives 6, sum 4 gives us 10, sum 5 gives us 15, sum n gives us the summation till n. But which gives us the minimum value? Someone. So for us, someone is the terminating case. So what is the terminating case for us? I said I have to take both the things, but now we are considering what? We are considering the terminating case. So what is the terminating case for us? From the table we can see that the minimum result given by sum n function is 1. And when it is giving the minimum value? When n is passed with 1. So our terminating case is sum 1. And what value it gives back to us? It gives us 1. So we have got our terminating case. Students, please see the terminating case properly. This is our terminating case. This will be used for writing the code, Python code. Now let us go and find the recursive case for us. For which given function we are finding recursive case? See, we are finding the recursive case for sum n. Again, the recursive case would be found by us using table. See, again the same thing, but this time I have also kept here a column which shows how the function works in Python. The second column shows how we would think the computer would do the work. And the third column shows how actually the computer is doing the work. So how the function is working, third column shows. So again, let us understand it. Now when someone is passed, Python will give me 1. Because it is the terminating case, we'll put a code for it. We'll say if someone, then give 1. Now when sum2 is passed, we can see we would have thought sum2. Okay, then 2 plus 1, 3. But Python doesn't think in this way. What it would do is, or I should say any language, our computer would not think in this way. What computer would do is, it will write sum2 as, it will actually change sum2 as 2 plus sum1. And then it will go and call someone. It will knock the door of someone and say, someone, please give me the answer. Please tell me what someone is. Now someone will give 1 because someone knows that my value is 1. Now when someone gives it 1, then 2 plus 1 would become 3, and then sum2 would get its answer. Sum2 would understand, okay, I am 3. That means, how many functions worked for sum2? Or I should say, how many times some function worked when sum2 was called? So some function worked 2 times. One with the parameter 2, then again with the parameter 1. Now which function worked first? Sum2 or sum1? The answer is sum2 worked first. Then sum1 was called. Now my question is, which function completed its work first? Now we can well see sum1 completed its work. Sum1 gave the result 1, then sum2 got its result 3. So, isn't it such that Python is putting these functions in a basket? First it put sum2 in the basket for a work, and then it put sum1. But who came out from the basket first? Sum1 came out. Its work was completed first. Then sum2 came out. That means recursive functions or recursions take use of stacks. Sum2 goes in first. Then sum1 goes. Who comes out? Sum1 comes out, then sum2. So we can well see, while working with recursive function, stack is applied by our computer. So this is to be noted here. Recursions work with the help of stacks. Let us now take sum3. How sum3 works? Now you can well see, we would have thought sum3 to be 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is 6. But our computer, when set to work with sum3 or execute sum3, it goes and execute 3 plus sum2. Now sum3 will call sum2. Sum3 will knock the door of sum2. Now sum2, it again means 2 plus sum1. Now it has to call sum1. Now sum1 gives a definite answer, that is 1. This 1 is taken by sum2. It makes it 3. And then that 3 is returned by sum2 to sum3. And sum3 then understands, okay, 3 plus 3 is 6. So this is the way our Python is recurring the use of sum function. How many times sum3 worked with sum function? 3 times. First with sum3, then sum2, and then sum1. So sum function how many times was called while executing sum3? Sum function was called 3 times. One with sum3, then with sum2, and then with sum1. Whose execution completed first? Sum1's. Then sum2. and then sum 3. Again see stack. So I think you have understood how it works. This is recursive case, and you have also understood why I am saying it to be recursive, because recursion is going on. Sum 3 called 3 times some function, sum 2 called 2 times, so this is recursion. But sum 1 once, it called once, so it is not a case of recursion, it is a case of termination. It helps in terminating the code. Terminating what? Recursion. Here the recursion comes and ends. This is the last function sum that is called, even when sum 2 was called or even sum 3 was called. So it is a case of termination of the recursion. Now, if I go to sum n directly, this is whose recursive case we want. We want to write the sum n function. So here you see in sum n also, we all know, if we had human beings, we know how to do it. We know sum n means n plus n minus 1 plus n minus 2 plus n minus 3 in this way till 1. But if you see, Python works in a different way. I should say computer works in a different way. For sum n, it will keep n plus sum n minus 1. You can relate it with the thing written above it. See, 5 plus sum 4. So sum 4 is 1 less than 5. The 4 there in sum 4 is 1 less than 5. So if I take n, then within sum I should write n minus 1. So it becomes n plus sum n minus 1. How I came to that conclusion? Seeing the things written in the table above, n plus sum n minus 1. Anything you see for the recursive cases, 2 plus sum 1, 3 plus sum 2, 4 plus sum 3, 5 plus sum 4. Similarly for n, n plus sum n minus 1. So this particular is our recursive case, because I am here to make a function for sum n. So I think we have understood that how recursive case is reached to. So our recursive case is sum n is equal to n plus sum n minus 1. One more thing to remember, all recursive functions in programming use a stack for its work. So I think you have understood. Let us summarize. Terminating case, when n is equal to 1 for finding sum of n natural numbers. This is the basic, this is the minimum. This is the terminating case. So when n is equal to 1, then what should we, that means when n is passed to the function sum and called, then we should get back 1. Recursive case, it is for all other values of n, that is when sum n, then we should get back n plus sum n minus 1. So I think you have understood, students, how Python works with it. Let us now see this code and see the output of the code. See, I have written a function sum. I am passing n to it, and see how simply the code now can be written. We have written if n is equal to 1, return 1. This is the terminating case. Else, for all other cases, that is the recursive case, return n plus sum n minus 1. So simple it is to write a recursive function. See, some function is being called from within the definition of that function. So it is a recursive function. Now, if a value is passed to p, then that p's value will reach n. If the value is 1, what would we return with? We would return with 1. Then the answer would be sum of first one natural number are 1. But if we give, say, some other value, say I give 5, so it is going to give back our answer. You can well see the output. When I gave 5, the sum of first 5 natural number are 15, and we all agree that it is 15. So students, you saw how easily we wrote the definition of a recursive function sum, which finds the sum of first n natural numbers. So this is very simple. Today I'll conclude my video here only, but the next video which would be followed by all of us would contain two more questions. One, the finding and displaying of the factorial of a number, and second, the Fibonacci series. We would consider those two questions in the next video, and you'll see they are also very simple to write, taking into consideration the terminating case and the recursive case. So today, students, it's over now. Thank you very much. Have a good day.